If you listen to the Plight of the Pansexual episode, you know this voice all too well.
Trust the case study. I'm dead.
But what you didn't know is that his real name is not Denzel. He went by that name in our interview because he wasn't ready to publicly declare what he was still sorting out. Well, 3 years later, we are both beginning new chapters in ways that are different and the same. Niles is my first guest again on this new chapter, and he's finally ready to go by his real name. So, it's been a long time.
Too long.
Yeah. And you were here for the beginning. You were my first guest on the podcast.
Yeah, I remember this.
The Plight of the Pansexual.
Yeah.
I came up with that name. I'm so proud of it.
Name was best for me.
And that's still the number one listened to episode. I don't know why y'all are still listening to that, but maybe it's because of your voice.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. The people were asking me, how many times has he been on the podcast? Because I've used your voice and clips from that episode throughout the several seasons of the show as like trailers.
Yeah.
And because the sound bites were just so awesome, and so they really worked, and so we just kept using it. So you've been with us through the last 4 seasons, although you've only been here for actually one time. But what I think I wanted to know personally was about where your journey took you after that, because I know, because we talked a lot over the years, but I didn't really have like a front seat view in terms of how things unraveled. I know that you had dated, and I know you moved out of your parents' house, and I know that was a whole thing. So I think what I want to know is how things unfolded after the Plight of the Pansexual interview. From your point of view in regards to Jasmine, because I know Jasmine has her own point of view, and I'm sure she'll be here at some point to speak on that. But I want to know, in your view, how things unraveled after that. Did you have any regrets?
Definitely. I regret the way I handled most of those situations because I was young and immature and like arrogant as hell. So. Like,
you felt like you were arrogant?
I mean, there was some arrogance to it, I definitely feel like, because I just felt like what I was doing was right and everything and all that stuff. But in the process, I was just like hurting people and everything, which that's not cool. That's not what you want to do. Yeah.
So I guess the way you're framing it is the arrogance showed up in these scenarios with the relationships.
Yeah, especially when it came to like ending relationships. I was just like, oh, I know what's best for this. I don't want to do this anymore, despite like anything my partner would have to say about it. Like, I'm going to end this on my terms because I think this, that, and the other is what's good. Yeah.
I see.
Instead of like, actually communicating and listening and all that stuff, I would just use my own stories like, all right, this is over. This is going to end this way. This is going to end that way. And I'm going to keep going with my life like nothing ever happened. And I did nothing wrong. Yeah.
Where did you think you got that from?
About that. But I don't know. I really don't know.
Well, I'm glad that no, but you probably onto something because we tend to show up how we've been shown.
Yeah.
What we've viewed, what we've seen, how love is modeled.
Yeah.
In front of us, we soak that up, and sometimes we don't know that we're soaking it up until it's time to squeeze it out. And so when you were in that scenario, you were your dad.
Yeah, I was definitely. There's some situations like I'm acting just like my dad would have acted. Like it was just not good. Yeah.
So you listened to Jasmine's experience of it.
Yeah.
What was that like? Hearing her.
It was kind of eye-opening, and like truth, it was like crap. Like, yeah, I'm so sorry. Let's. And I think we talked a little bit after that.
Yeah, I think she told me that you guys did.
And still have regrets about that. Just how that ended. So.
And from what I recall, her saying that you guys, after you kind of talk things out, that you really were able to kind of have a new chapter, if you will, after that a little bit in terms of some whatever friendship.
Yeah, which needed to happen because I still love them and everything. Like, and I want them to be my friend. Like, keep doing their own thing. They're doing great right now.
So one of the things that was an eye opener for me with how Jasmine experienced things, she spoke a lot more in detail about the third person who came on the scene. What was her intention? Did she have a hidden scheme?
Yeah.
Did she have a hidden scheme?
I don't think. I think it was just really blatant out there. I don't think it was hidden. It was like, you want to fuck? So, yeah. And then we started dating briefly. So.
So she came for you while you were in the relationship with Jasmine.
Yeah.
And so this is where the pansexual part came in.
Oh yeah, pansexuality. That started when I realized, like, it's not. How do I explain? Jesus.
Take your time.
Take my time, man. Like, that's when the polyamory kind of came in. That's when I was like, okay, am I this way? Pansexual came in, I was like, I'm not just attracted to women or anyone like that anymore, because saw a guy, this was besides you, saw a guy, I was just like, God damn, he's cute as fuck.
I mean, I never had it said like that before, but I'll take it.
Yeah. Don't worry, you're gorgeous. You're gorgeous as a kid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. You were my first crush. Wow.
You're so killing me, but I don't know if this is gonna make the cut, but
Yeah.
So when Paige entered the picture, did you have a firm idea of what being pansexual, how that was playing out?
No, I really didn't have like a really firm grasp on it until like pretty much after that tryst happened, and then I started to like mature a little bit more. I didn't understand myself. Started hanging out with more like my more LGBTQ friends and all that stuff, and I kind of just started from there because they introduced me to a lot of them. That's
okay.
Yeah, like they really good person. They introduced me to a lot of really good people.
Because what I recall when I was, because it was new for me too.
I think that was like the main thing that attracted me towards the person. It was just like, like not only are you cool with me also being attracted to men, like you have tons of people also like that.
Right.
So
one of the things that I was trying to figure out, because you were the first person I believe who introduced me to that idea, that term. So I was trying to figure out how do you define it, and I think one of the things I remember you saying is that you were telling people that you were bisexual at first, but maybe that wasn't having the
impact that I wanted, because it was just like I specifically like man or women, which that isn't what bisexuality is anyway. It's just two genders, like whatever.
So this is what I want you to do, because I know you had a certain way of framing it. Then how were you thinking now about what it means to be bisexual, what it means to be pansexual? And in polyamory, what are the different? How do you define those different terms?
Pansexually, it's like a vibe. It's not like I specifically want these physical traits out of you or anything. It's just like if we're vibing and everything, and I'm cool with you, like I'm attracted to you. Like physical appearance is like it's not even at the top. It's probably like fourth or third, maybe. Okay. It's like we just got to get along and vibe good for a good minute.
Okay. And so that could include.
Anyone.
Many people.
Yeah, anyone. Not just men or women. Everything in between and outside.
And at the same time.
Yeah.
Right. So one of the things that I might have asked you then is, isn't that a lot to manage?
I mean,
like,
yeah, because when you're not freaking organized, but that's why I'm single now, because I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I should take a break, work on myself, and then I'll be polyamorous, because, I can't do a relationship right now. I'm just too busy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because that's
where I'm at right now.
So. Right. So, okay. So, how is that different from pansexual? Tell me about that.
Well, like pansexuality, that's a sexuality. Polyamory is more like a lifestyle to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You feel me?
Yeah. Yeah. I can see that.
Because you can be any sexuality and be polyamorous. Like you can be straight and be polyamorous. It's just like a lifestyle to live. And there's more than one way to be polyamorous. Like I recently looked up solo polyamory.
You know, we talked about that on one of the previous episodes of the podcast. I believe it was Sexually Speaking, and the other one after that. But what was funny was that, you know, some of the things that we were reading, there were a lot of interesting opinions on people had about how they felt about that and what direction that could go in, and is it being rebranded as being a hoe?
Oh, yo, that I gotta get that one right there, because a lot of people just assume polyamory means you're fucking everybody and have all these sexual partners. Like, when in reality, it's literally just like, yo, you want to go get lunch and talk about our feelings? And it's like being in a relationship, like intimate friendships, intimate partnerships, and all that stuff. Like some people are sexual with it. Like you're having more than one partner, so some people you might not even be sexual with.
Okay, so it doesn't have to be a sexual thing.
It's not a sex.
Oh, so that's an interesting point. Because I think, like a lot of things, people go straight to the sex.
Yeah, you straight to the sex. Like, it's not sexual. Like, I literally just enjoy this person's like energy so much. I want them around me constantly. Which just happens with a lot of like my especially female friends. Like, I don't want to have sex with them because they're attractive. I'm not attracted to them. I just enjoy their company. Period.
You know, you hit on something that I want to talk about more going forward, and I think I'm going to call it something along the lines of sex with the soul.
Yeah.
Producer. But the whole point of it is I want to explore where that intersection between sexuality and our spirituality, because I feel like people leave or feel, maybe because of how we've been conditioned and raised, that when you're engaging with somebody sexually or connecting with them sexually, that you have to leave your soul behind.
Yeah,
and I'm
exactly.
like, I've never left my soul behind. In fact, my soul has influenced a lot of what I ended up feeling about those scenarios, or what I ended up deciding if it was good for me or not. You know what I'm saying? Did I feel beaten up by the experience? Did I feel like there was a violation in some way? Because I mean, even if there was consent, sometimes you can come away still feeling violated.
Yeah.
So if I consented physically, what part of me feels violated? And exploring that, right? And so I haven't been in a lot of spaces that gave the opportunity to have those kind of conversations. So I wanted to, it was my intention to do that, more and more going forward. But I'm glad that you're the first person as the first guest, because one of the things I want to explore is how you have grown. And since then, how you have evolved in your sexuality, what that looks like for you now, and you know, you talked about some of the things that you learned being able to see yourself, and it sounds like the podcast was a opportunity for you to look at yourself in a way that you
pretty much, like, especially after listening to Jasmine's part, I was just like, I gotta look at myself a little bit more now, because I saw it a lot differently. So
that's good. And that's what it's all about, right? You just happen to have a very upfront, that's why I'm calling you from my crush to my case study.
Yeah, crush to case study. I'm dead. Great, it's great. Keep that.
That's probably the title of the video.
She opened up my bag and saw like all our sex toys and shit, because we were kinky. We had like, props, whips, ropes, and all that stuff. And she's like, "What do you need all this for? Like, you guys are into this?" It's like, yeah, we are. It's fun.
Wow.